When sleeping giants, Rise Commander Elena Vasquez stood at the observation deck of mining station Omega-7, watching the red dwarf star cast its dying light across the asteroid field. 50 years had passed since the Galactic Council discovered Earth and decided humanity needed guidance. Guidance that came in the form of labor camps, forced relocations, and the systematic destruction of human culture. Alina remembered her childhood on Earth before the Council arrived. Green fields, blue skies, and the freedom to dream. Now humans were scattered across the galaxy, working in mines, factories, and research stations. The Council called it integration. Alina called it slavery. The communication device on her belt crackled to life. Commander Vasquez, this is Base Phoenix. Operation Titan's Forge is ready for activation. Elena's heart raced. After 20 years of secret planning, gathering resources, and recruiting the best human engineers and pilots from across the galaxy, the moment had finally arrived. The Council thought they had broken humanity's spirit. They were wrong, acknowledged. Phoenix, begin the awakening sequence. Deep within the asteroid belt, hidden in hollowed-out rocks and forgotten mining tunnels, humanity's greatest secret was about to be revealed. The war giants. Massive mechanical titans, each standing 400 feet tall, powered by fusion cores and armed with weapons that could crack planets. Alina closed her eyes and remembered her brother Marcus. He had been a brilliant scientist, recruited by the Council for their genetic enhancement programs. They promised him he would help advance human evolution. Instead, they used him as a test subject for their experiments. When Alina found his body in the research facility, she made a vow. The Council would pay for every human life they had destroyed. The floor beneath her feet vibrated as the first war giant began its startup sequence. Through the reinforced windows, Alina watched as Thunderstrike emerged from its hidden chamber. The massive machine moved with surprising grace, its blue fusion core glowing through the chest armor. The neural interface helmet locked onto Elena's head, and suddenly she was no longer standing on the observation deck. She was Thunderstrike. Every sensor became her eyes, every weapon system her arms. The power was overwhelming. Alina felt that machine's artificial intelligence merged with her consciousness, creating something greater than either could achieve alone. This was why the Council had banned neural interface technology. They feared what humans could become when they stopped, limiting themselves. All pilots, report status, Alina commanded through the communication network. Iron Fist online and ready for combat, came the voice of Captain Torres from Mining Station Delta 3. Stormwall activated. All systems green, reported Lieutenant Johnson from the Europa facility. One by one, the reports came in. 27 war giants had successfully activated across the solar system, each one piloted by a human who had lost everything to the Council's rule, each one carrying 20 years of suppressed rage and determination. Alina activated Thunderstrikes, thrusters, and launched into space. The asteroid field that had hidden them for so long now became their hunting ground. According to intelligence reports, 3 Council patrol fleets were conducting routine inspections in the sector. They were about to receive a very unwelcome surprise. The first fleet consisted of 12 ships, sleek and white, representing the Council's philosophy of clean, efficient control. They moved in perfect formation, their crews confident in their technological superiority. The Council had ruled the galaxy for 3,000 years. No primitive species had ever challenged their authority successfully. Thunderstrike's sensors locked onto the lead ship, a destroyer-class vessel called the Harmony's Edge, Alina smiled grimly at the name. The council loved their peaceful-sounding ship names, even for their military vessels. It helped them maintain the illusion that they were benevolent rulers rather than oppressive conquerors. Council fleet, this is mining station Omega 7. Are trespassing in human territory. Leave immediately or face the consequences. The response came quickly, tinged with arrogance. Human facility, you have no authority to make territorial claims. Prepare for inspection and submit to council oversight. Elena's grip tightened on the neural interface controls. Wrong answer. Thunderstrike burst from the asteroid field like a metallic comet, its plasma cannons charging with deadly energy. The council ships scrambled to respond, but their weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat, not for battling something as massive and heavily armored as a war giant. The first plasma blast tore through the Harmony's edge like paper. The ship's energy shields, powerful enough to deflect asteroid impacts, were useless against the concentrated fury of Thunderstrike's main cannons. The vessel split in half, its crew's final screams echoing across the communication channels. Impossible, came a panicked voice from another ship. Our sensors show a massive mechanical construct. This technology is forbidden by galactic law. Alina laughed, a sound that carried no humor. Your laws don't apply to us anymore. The battle was over in minutes. 12 council ships reduced to floating debris, their crews either dead or fleeing in escape pods. But this was just the beginning. Across the solar system, the other war giants were engaging their own targets. The council's patrol fleets, mining operations, and research facilities were being systematically destroyed. Alina opened a channel to all council frequencies, ensuring her message would reach every corner of the galaxy. This is Commander Alina Vasquez of the Human Liberation Front. For 50 years, you have treated us as slaves, test subjects, and expendable resources. Today, that ends. We are no longer the broken species you conquered. We are humanity unleashed. The response from the Council's Central Command came within hours. Supreme Chancellor Vorth himself appeared on the communication screen, his reptilian features twisted with rage and disbelief. Commander Vasquez, you have committed acts of terrorism against the galactic peace. Surrender your illegal weapons immediately, and the Council may show mercy. Alina studied the alien leader who had signed the orders that destroyed her brother's life. Mercy, like the mercy you showed the children of New Geneva when you turned them into genetic experiments. Like the mercy you showed the miners of Kepler Station when you worked them to death. Keep your mercy, Chancellor. We'll take our freedom instead. You cannot possibly believe you can stand against the might of the Galactic Council. We have fleets numbering in the thousands, armies beyond counting. Then you'd better start counting, Alina replied, cutting the transmission. The truth was, Alina knew the odds were against them. 27 war giants, no matter how powerful, could not defeat the entire Galactic Council. But they didn't need to win through force alone. They needed to prove that humanity would never again bow to alien rule. They needed to show the galaxy that the human spirit could not be broken. News of the attacks spread across the galaxy like wildfire. On council-controlled worlds, humans in labor camps began to whisper of the war giants, the oppressed species that had been conquered before humanity started to watch with growing interest. If the humans could fight back, perhaps they could too. Alina guided Thunderstrike toward the next target, a massive mining platform in the asteroid belt. The Council had built it using human slave labor, extracting precious metals to fuel their war machine. Today, it would become a symbol of their crumbling authority. As the war giants' weapons charged for another attack, Elena felt something she hadn't experienced in decades: hope. The giants were awake, and they were angry. The galaxy was about to learn what happened when humanity stopped pretending to be weak. The mining platform's defenses activated as Thunderstrike approached, but they were designed to repel pirates and raiders, not walking fortresses. Plasma cannons carved through the station's hull like a hot knife through butter. Secondary explosions rippled across the structure as fuel lines ruptured and power cores overloaded. All human personnel, evacuate immediately, Elena broadcast to the station. This facility is being liberated. She watched through Thunderstrike's sensors as escape pods launched from the station, carrying the human workers to safety. The alien overseers and council officials were less fortunate. Elena felt no remorse as their sections of the station were consumed by fire and vacuum. The war giants were not just weapons. They were a statement, a declaration that humanity would no longer accept its place as the galaxy's slave race. The Council had made a fundamental error in their assessment of human nature. They had assumed that broken spirits would stay broken. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Asterisk. Giants Among the Stars, the emergency session of the Galactic Council convened in the Great Chamber of Nexus Prime, their capital world. Representatives from 1,000 species gathered in crystalline towers that reached toward the stars. For 3 millennia, this chamber had been the center of galactic civilization, the place where peace was maintained and order preserved. Today, it was filled with panic. Supreme Chancellor Vorth stood at the central podium, his scaled hands gripping the speaking platform. Fellow councillors, we face an unprecedented crisis. The human species has revealed military capabilities that were supposedly destroyed during their integration 50 years ago. Councillor Zek of the Altarian Collective raised a tentacle. Our intelligence reports indicate massive mechanical constructs operated by human pilots using forbidden neural interface technology. How is this possible? The humans have been planning this rebellion for decades, Vorth replied, his voice heavy with frustration. They used their positions in our mining operations and research facilities to gather resources and technology. We underestimated their capacity for deception. What the Council didn't know was that at that very moment, 50 more war giants were emerging from hidden locations throughout the solar system. The initial 27 had been just the first wave. Commander Elena Vasquez had spent 2 decades preparing for this moment, and she had planned for every contingency. Captain Marcus Chen activated the neural interface of his war giant Stormbreaker deep within the asteroid belt. Unlike Elena's Thunderstrike, Stormbreaker was designed for speed and precision strikes. Its sleek frame carried advanced stealth technology and long-range weapons systems. Marcus had been a transport pilot before the Council conscripted him for their military forces. Now he was about to show them what human ingenuity could accomplish when properly motivated. Phoenix Base, this is I have visual confirmation of the Council fleet at Sector 7, 36 vessels in defensive formation. Elena's voice crackled through the communication system. Confirmed, Marcus, you are cleared for Operation Shockwave. Show them what happens when they threaten human families. Marcus smiled grimly. The Council had taken his wife and daughter for their genetic research programs 3 years ago. He had volunteered for the most dangerous missions, hoping to find them. Instead, he found their bodies in a research facility on Titan. That was the day he stopped being a Council pilot and became a war giant. Stormbreaker's stealth systems activated, bending light around the massive frame and making it nearly invisible to sensors. The war giant moved through the asteroid field like a ghost, its fusion core running silent and its weapons systems charging. The Council fleet was positioned to intercept any human ships attempting to leave the solar system. Their formation was textbook perfect, overlapping fields of fire and mutual support. Against conventional opponents, it would have been impregnable. War giants were not conventional opponents. Marcus selected his first target, a heavy cruiser named the Eternal Harmony. The ship's crew was monitoring long-range sensors, watching for human vessels that would never come. They never saw Stormbreaker until it was too late. The war giant's main cannon fired a concentrated beam of plasma that punched through the cruisers. Shields like they were made of paper. The ship's hull buckled and cracked, atmosphere venting into space as the crew scrambled to abandon ship. Unknown contact bearing 270 Mark 15 came the panicked voice from the fleet's flagship. Massive energy signature, classification unknown. Marcus dropped the stealth field and revealed Stormbreaker in all its terrifying glory. The war giant's weapon systems blazed with deadly light as it engaged the entire fleet simultaneously. Plasma cannons, particle beams, and antimatter torpedoes turned the void into a light show of destruction. The Council ships responded with everything they had, but their weapons were designed for ship-to-ship combat. Against a 400-foot war giant with armor designed to withstand planetary bombardment, they might as well have been throwing rocks. Engineer Sarah Kim watched the battle from her war giant Void Crusher, positioned at the edge of the engagement zone. Her role was different from Elena's and Marcus's. While they were warriors, Sarah was a builder. Her war giant carried advanced fabrication equipment and repair systems. She was the one who would ensure the rebellion could sustain itself. "You have 3 Council destroyers moving to flank your position," Sarah reported through the tactical network. "Acknowledged, Void Crusher. Time to show them why humans invented the phrase divide and conquer." Marcus spun Stormbreaker around with impossible grace for such a massive machine. The war giant's secondary weapons systems engaged the flanking destroyers while its main guns continued to pound the fleet's capital ships. Each shot was precisely calculated, each maneuver designed to maximize damage while minimizing risk. This was what the Council had never understood about humanity. They saw humans as emotional, chaotic, and unpredictable. What they missed was that beneath the emotion was a cold, calculating intelligence that could plan for decades and execute those plans with devastating precision. Within an hour, the entire Council fleet was either destroyed or retreating. Marcus had single-handedly eliminated 36 ships without taking significant damage. The message was clear. Humanity's war giants were not just powerful, they were unstoppable. The news of the battle reached the Council chamber just as Chancellor Vorth was explaining his plan to contain the human rebellion. The chamber fell silent as the tactical report was read aloud. 50 confirmed war giants, each one capable of destroying an entire fleet. The humans had not just built a few weapons. They had created an army. "This is impossible," whispered Councillor Zek. "No species has ever developed such technology without our knowledge. The humans have proven they are far more resourceful than we believed," admitted Vorth. "Perhaps it is time to negotiate." The suggestion sent shockwaves through the chamber. The Galactic Council had never negotiated with a subordinate species. They ruled through strength and the threat of overwhelming force. But the humans had just proven that the Council's strength was not as overwhelming as they had. Believed. Alina received the Council's communication request while Thunderstrike was finishing the destruction of another mining facility. The message was formal and diplomatic, requesting a ceasefire and peaceful resolution to the conflict. "Commander Vasquez," came Chancellor Vorth's voice, "the Council is prepared to discuss terms for ending this hostility. We can offer improved conditions for human workers and greater autonomy for human colonies." Elena's laughter echoed through the communication channel. "Improved conditions, greater autonomy. You still don't understand, do you? We're not asking for better treatment. We're demanding our freedom. The Council cannot simply abandon its responsibilities to maintain galactic order. Then the Council is about to learn what disorder looks like." Alina cut the transmission and opened a channel to all War Giant pilots. "All units, this is Phoenix Command. The Council thinks they can negotiate their way out of this. Time to show them they're wrong. Begin Phase 3. Phase 3 was the culmination of 20 years of planning. While the Council had been focused on the war giants in the solar system, human agents throughout the galaxy had been preparing for this moment. On 1,000 worlds, in mining operations, research facilities, and military bases, humans began to sabotage critical infrastructure. The rebellion was not just about the war giants. It was about every human who had suffered under Council rule. It was about the miners who had died in unsafe conditions, the children who had been taken for experiments, the families who had been separated and scattered across the galaxy. As the sabotage operations began, other species that had been conquered by the Council started to take notice. The Kepler natives, who had been enslaved 2 centuries ago, began to organize resistance movements. The silicon-based entities from the Vega system, who had been exploited for their unique computational abilities, started to rebel against their overseers. Alina watched from Thunderstrike's command center as the galaxy began to burn. This was what the Council had created with their oppression. They had unified their enemies against them, and humanity had provided the spark that would ignite a galactic revolution. The final phase of the operation began as the war giants moved toward the Council's home system. 50 mechanical titans, each one a testament to human ingenuity and determination, advanced through space like harbingers of change. The Council's grand fleet moved to intercept them. Thousands of ships in formations that had maintained galactic peace for millennia. But Alina was no longer the broken mining engineer who had started this rebellion. She was something new, something the galaxy had never seen before. She was humanity unleashed. The Battle of Nexus Prime lasted 3 days. When it was over, the Galactic Council's military might was broken, their capital world's defenses shattered. The war giants stood victorious among the wreckage of the old order. Chancellor Vorth's final transmission came from his personal escape pod as his flagship burned around him. "You have doomed the galaxy to chaos, Commander Vasquez. Without the Council's guidance, civilization will collapse."